fine. Put on damn seatbelt. I've just been sitting here this whole time wondering if I should be honest that this is my first actual recording. My first session of actually filming for this documentary. How do I even interview myself? I can't ask myself questions that are gonna come out of left field. I can't. I don't know. That's my whole point. I don't think I have a direction with this.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and I'm a film student at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. This year, I turned 27. For some reason, that number carries a lot of weight with it. But I feel like a lot of people, when they talk about being at this age, they talk about it like it's supposed to mean something. It's like you either figure things out or you die. I don't know who I am, but I chose to turn the camera inward because it's finally time for me to figure out who I am, at the very least. Maybe I don't need to know where I'm going, but I need to know what's in my foundation. Maybe I'll figure it out, and maybe I won't. I'm just glad you're joining me for the ride.
Okay, I'll just deal with that. Okay, I think I'm just gonna start right here. So I just did something that I didn't think that I would do, is I did PA training. I did a PA training weekend. It was 2 days. It was completely free. I won this hat. I'm all over the place. Anyways, I gotta stick to my word. I'm feeling a little bit inspired right now.
So here I am, driving home after a
learned
2-day production assistant training in Santa Fe. And I don't know what it was. I was feeling revved up. I was feeling really good. I felt like I had finally discovered a part of myself. But I also feel like I wouldn't have been feeling that if I wasn't making this documentary. Because I spoke for the entire hour drive home, and I guess here's a little bit of how it went down. Oh, and also here's the part where I didn't realize that my camera was falling down the whole time, so enjoy watching it fall in time lapse. So the main instructor at this training said something that really stuck with me. And he said that people who go home and do nothing are the ones who won't make it in this industry. And the thing is, that really struck a chord because I knew he was talking about me. Because I do have a hard time doing things. Even things that I really love doing. But even with that, even hearing all of that, I still felt so good. There was just something different here. I am usually a very introverted person. I usually only speak when spoken to, and I really don't go out of my way to talk to people. But that was the first time that I had ever been somewhere and I decided to talk to people, to speak up first, just to crack a joke, even though I'm not really that funny, just to, break the ice a little bit. And there are all these things we were talking about because being a production assistant is a glorified shit show. But it's a great way to get into the industry. And despite all of what I was hearing, for the first time, I never felt intimidated. I just thought to myself, challenge accepted. And then I get to this point in the drive, and I think it's so cliche, but it's honestly so sweet, I guess, where I stop my recording, recording my face, and I pull up the camera and I point it to the clouds and I say, well, I've made this drive so many times, but I can never get over it. I can never get over how the clouds look. I just can never get over it. And I think I'm really identifying with the sky today. It sounds like, some schizo stuff. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. But it was really sweet because I said, today I was the ray of sunlight coming through those clouds.
Whoa. Hold on. Oh my god. Hold on, you gotta fucking see this. Oh my god. How beautiful is that? Oh,
yeah, don't know.
I was probably
Alcohol. I have to just get it going.
Is it bad? Victim of hate. Tired of being a victim of
Tired of being a victim of.
You don't want to hit this guy.
Guys, we're gonna hit him because you're not opening the
Security.
It's the cops, dude.
All right. This is the first time I've actually even set up the damn camera, the real camera, not just my fucking phone. I just went through all the footage I had already, and this is like the first time where I was like, oh my god, I hate this. I hate this so much. I have no direction, and for the first time it's not working out. Every single other project I've ever done, I've been able to just breeze by and get it done. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning too on a Sunday. I have class tomorrow. I actually have to turn in this camera tomorrow. I'm just so sick of having no direction. I've always somehow been able to manage everything impromptu. When I actually try, it just turned out to be a fucking failure. How profound is it really to be figuring this out? I'm not here to teach anybody anything. I had a feeling that maybe coming out of this, I would have something to say to, you know, young people growing up confused, don't know what to do.
The biggest part of this is the biggest question actually about making this whole piece, this whole thing, the whole reason for this is what makes you the qualified person to be talking about this? What makes you the best person to be the storyteller? Maybe it just isn't me.
What's up, baby?
I just recorded myself crying in front of the camera
Why?
because it came out and it's totally good content.
Cool. I mean, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just thinking about how I, like the one time I actually try and plan something and it's dog shit. And every other time I've just kind of gone with the flow. Just put anything together and it was fine. It was actually great. A product of panic and
Yeah, well, sorry things didn't go the way you hoped, love.
I just like completely mapped out the whole project and still not.
What you hoped for?
Panicking the whole time because I'm doing everything last minute.
Well, maybe that's how you do your best work.
Yeah, well, that's gonna kill me.
Well, then stop.
The one time I try and actually plan it out, it's not good.
Well, I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but I don't think you really tried. You know, like, I didn't see you painstakingly, work your fingers to the bone every single day to make the project what it is. I'm not saying that to beat down on you. I'm saying I don't think you tried your hardest. I'm saying how can you measure your work based on, like, bare minimum work? Right? I think you really wanted to do well, but I think you just let it escape you for some reason. Love, you procrastinated. I'm saying this project may have not panned out the way you wanted it to. I'd say just try harder next time. It's alright that it didn't work out the way you wanted. And even if it was like, the consequences of procrastination, that's okay. That's how it is with art. It's how it is with life. If you think you're the one person who puts aside shit and just panics at the end, no, man. That's like 99% of humanity. Everyone does that. It's all panic. Everything we do. Just look at the things I really like. Politics and philosophy and religion. A lot of scientists would argue that it's futile to try to govern monkeys. And they'd say philosophy is a waste of time. Whether you had planned things ahead of time and worked hard the entire time, or whether you worked really hard at the end of things, you're still working hard either way. It's not going to be easier or more organized unless you're perfect. But if you worked every single day hard as shit to make that project what you wanted it to be, I promise you, love, you would have been just as stressed, just as fucking fucked up about it. Just because you get things done timely, I mean, it don't mean nothing. It's still going to be hard. Pretty sure that's just how life is.
I'll admit it. That hurt a lot to hear. And it's not because he was being cruel or anything. He was 100% right. What hurt was because I knew he was right. It hurt because he actually said something that I couldn't even admit myself. Because I like to think of myself as someone who can just wing it. I work under pressure. That's just my thing. And I had deluded myself to the point where I really thought that I was really working on this because I was working on it for the whole semester. But I was honestly really only working when I felt comfortable to do so. I made a promise to myself that I was going to record a video diary every single day. And it turned out that, I don't know, I think I only did 3 or 4 over the whole semester. And I guess in action. There we go. Because I don't have a thing.
I have one, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, we need it for the prop.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess, you know what, just start off just introducing yourself.
Okay. My name is Ramona Emerson. I am a filmmaker and a writer and also a professor at UNM. And I have a business here in Albuquerque called Real Indian Pictures, and we do mostly documentary work. I've always been a big supporter of our local film industry and of local filmmakers, and so this just seems like the next logical step is to work with students and to get them into the film industry, and that's exciting to me. I love watching their work develop.
Do you think that you're where you expected to be 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
I don't know. I think when I graduated from this school, I was hoping I was going to be like the next Tarantino or something. I don't know. I don't know what I was, right? Everybody thinks they're going to have like a Hollywood deal in 10 minutes, 10 years or something, and or have some feature-length screenplay being produced. And, you know, I tried. I did. And I made short films. I went through a lot of the programs and the stuff that happens. And I always just thought I would always be a filmmaker. It took me like 5 years to graduate. mostly because I was just not coming to class and doing my work. I was a terrible student. And then I just was having a tumultuous relationship, and my mom and I weren't getting along, and I was homeless for a little bit, and I don't know, I had a hard time when I was at UNM. So 27 was a tough year. I turned 27 when it was the year 2000.
Wow.
And yeah, and there was a lot of stuff going on, like Y2K. Like everyone thought the world was going to end because our calendars were going to switch over to 00. And so there was a lot of weird end of the world kind of vibes going on at the same, when I was 27 years old. And so that year I made my first film after film school, and it had been at least 4 years since I had done anything like that, because after I got out of college, I started working forensics and doing anything and everything I could to survive, to eat, because I lived in a little tiny apartment and I didn't have a lot of money at all. I was always broke. I had a new blue truck that my grandma bought me when I graduated, and that was like my prized possession. I still have it. And I didn't know if what I had chosen to do was a good idea. I was at that crux where I was like, did I just waste, 4 or 5 years trying to go to school? And this is like a terrible idea. I mean, I was really at that point because I didn't know if it was going to work out. And then I happened to write this screenplay and enter it into this contest. And before I got picked, I was one of the last 10 finalists. And so they gave you a week to film and edit your short. And I did. And we turned it in, and at the screening, it was called The Back Road, and it's like on YouTube if anyone's curious. But there was a screening with all the finalists at the end, and we got such a rousing, round of applause for when the film screened, and I really felt like we were going to come away with the prize on that one. And no, we didn't. We didn't get the prize. We didn't win the editing system that we're all competing for, and it was hard to not win, and to work so hard and believe in it so much and then not get what you thought you were going to get. And it was like my first lesson in kind of having your heart broken, like what it's like to get a no, like getting a rejection letter, like really having hopes for something and it not happening. And so it was a tough turning point. It was at that point too where I was like, all right, I didn't even win. I mean, I was happy to be a finalist, but I was really disappointed. I remember that night, I couldn't sleep. I was just like, God, I'm a failure. Like, I'll never make a film again. And within a couple of months, my mom had called me and told me, hey, Helena is moving. And she was like, you should come talk to her. And I was like, for what? She was like, I don't know. You got cameras. Like, go, like, bring your camera and, like, just interview her or something. It might be interesting. And I was like, all right. And I was still kind of in this deep depression. I was, like, working in forensics still and had a horrible boss who chewed me out every day. And it was just like, oof. And I went and interviewed her. And it was just such a delightful thing to sit with her for an hour and listen to this Navajo elder just share all these funny stories with me and laugh and cry and talk to me about her family and her future. And that's my first documentary I ever made. And I realized at that point, well, I mean, I had made something in high school, but this is like the first really legit thing I felt proud about. And it was called The Last Trek. And there she is. This is Helena. That was the start of my documentary career, was picking up the pieces from The Back Road and from that disappointment with my short film and redirecting the way I was going as a filmmaker. I never thought I would do documentary. I always wanted to do narratives. But there was something about that moment, being with her and realizing how important it is to tell stories about my community. You take what you learned from that situation and you take it and you move on. And maybe you try the same thing again, or maybe you go in a different direction. And that's exactly what I did. I went in a different direction, and I realized that that's when I became a documentary filmmaker. And it was right around that time when I was 27 years old. And it was a pivotal time in my life. You find another way to push your dream, and it works out. But you have to have faith, and you have to believe in yourself enough to think, if I pivot here, it's going to be okay. Let's try this, and if this doesn't work out, I'll try something else, and if that doesn't work out, I'll try this. But the trick is just not to throw your hands up and go work at Starbucks. You know.
What do you think, I mean, anybody, but I guess mostly young people misunderstand about aging?
Well, I think when you're young, you don't realize that you only get one body. You know, so there's that crazy film, right? What is that movie called? The one with Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn.
Is that
Death Becomes Her?
That
yes.
was one of my favorite movies growing up.
I love that film. It's such a great film. But what's good about what's crazy about that film is there's a line in Death Becomes Her where Isabella Rossellini tells you, take care of your body, right? Like, take care of your body. And when you're young, you don't. You know, you eat trash, you drink too much, you smoke too much, you do crazy things. Because most of the time your body will bounce back from it. But when you get to be like 40 or 50, your body doesn't bounce back anymore, and it's harder to recover. And surround yourself with people who are going to support you and love you enough to even tell you when you're doing bad things, that love you enough to call you out on your bullshit. And those are the kind of friends to have. Not the kind of friends that will give you status or that you think are cool, or, you know, because most likely those friends aren't the ones that are going to stick with you. You know, you'll find those people in your life that really care for you and worry about where you're going and how you're going to get there. And those are the kinds of friends that you surround yourself with. So when I say take good care of your mind, that's also what I mean. Like, secure the right kinds of friends and surround yourself with the right people. And you'll feel when there's something toxic happening, or somebody is using you, or just being a bad person. So take good care of it. Give yourself a break when you need it. Even if it means going to touch some grass and water up in the mountains and just having a chill day without your phone or without people bugging. It really works wonders. Yeah.
I'm really grateful that I decided to interview my professor, because she is a wonderful person and she is willing to help anyone who needs it. And I think that day she really helped put things into perspective for me. I felt seen, knowing that she also had a tough time at this age. And she just kept going. She just reiterated it gets tough, but don't throw your hands up. You'll figure it out some way or another. And one thing that really hit me was when she spoke about the people you surround yourself with, because that really made me think and realize that I don't surround myself with that many people. And I used to think, oh, well, it's just because I'm very selective with who I surround myself with. But it's more of a thing where I'm just walling people off. And the thing is, I don't even know why. You know, I didn't get the answer that I was looking for. But I did realize that I didn't want the answer. And I think what I really needed was to be able to sit in all of that uncertainty without trying to fix it. I realized that the whole point is to just live. You know, this doesn't feel like a crisis anymore. I know that we all want to go somewhere and do something as soon as we can. But and that's up to anybody, whatever pace that they want to go at. But for me, I'm okay just being here, just living. I think when you think so introspectively about yourself and you're just constantly trying to fix yourself and make things better, that's not living anymore. That's honestly, that will drive anybody crazy. You just have to be present. And the present is a gift. So you don't have to have it figured out. You don't have to be perfect. Just live intentionally. I don't know if this will actually change anybody's life, but I just really want someone to know, even just one person, that they're not alone. And we've got work to do.